What's next here? Let's see. Ooh, the head is next. You know what? This is about as simple as some high grades. It's gonna be fun getting rid of the seam there. So I'm gonna have to separate it there where that peg goes into the back side of the head, and no, I'm gonna separate it here so that I can put this camera piece. This is part of the clear part that goes up behind there. I'm gonna have to cut that off and stick it in there. I'll glue it in there, I think. I'm gonna have to cut the bottom of this peg so I can slide this up, because to get rid of this seam here, I'm gonna have to glue it shut, and if I glue it shut, I can't put these in afterwards unless I cut there. So that's what's gonna happen, and yeah, let's go do it. Alright, let's make the head. I have already cut the top camera there. It doesn't seem to want to fall out, so I can just poke that out with a toothpick when it's time to paint it. But I can put that in with some tweezers and I can just set it and forget it. So I'm just going to do a test fit here. But I'm going to take the pieces apart and then going to glue these together and get rid of the seam lines there. Once that I'm going to sand that down with the seam line. It didn't make sense to get rid of those nubs if I'm gonna sand that flush anyway. So I've already cut that hole back there, so I can just hopefully just drop the rest of the face in there. So here's where I've cut the top part off, and this is the peg that goes in that hole there. There's the chin piece, the face parts. It's a nice looking little thing there. Make sure that's together. And hopefully this should just pop up in there. Looks good. It's a little loose, but nothing a little glue won't fix. And I'm missing the poly cap. Let's see. I'll put the poly cap in before. Let's see, when should that go in? If this is together, Stop spinning around. That goes in there like that. Can this go in there? Yeah. I don't know how much of that was in focus, but it goes in there nicely. Now for the iconic V-fin. It's a good looking head. Yep. Anyway. Okay, it's the next day. I'm still a little miffed about this. So I'm just going to set that over there. I'm going to do something. I have one of these silly things. Probably the magnifying lens kind of works, but it was cheap, so I got it, and I don't use it all that much, but it's good for holding these things. Let's see here. This will come off if I need it to. It's just your regular everyday upside down for lefties Gundam marker. Nothing special about them, it's just it's like almost identical to a micron pen. So I don't know. Maybe that's not the way to go. I think I'll use actual paint on it. Put that away. So I think I'm going to take this off. Put these together so I don't lose them. You know what? I'm going to test fit them again, make sure I didn't screw up. Make things more complicated for future me. slippery things. Alright, I'm going to leave the polycap out. You heard the snap, right? Now, I know I did this yesterday, but for you it's like 2 minutes ago. And you're yelling at your screen saying, "You already did this, it works." So yeah, it looks like polycap first, then the face. I might even glue the polycap in if the glue will work on it. I gotta find my super glue. So yeah, I think I'll get to gluing this now. There. Okie dokie. Let's arrange some things here. Almost lost that piece. And one more thing that I want to test. So I want to do things in the right order. Can I successfully put this in once it's glued up? Because if I paint this now and glue it in, when I prime the head, it's gonna ruin it. So if I put it in now, paint it later, how hard is it going to be to paint it later? And I wish I had fingers that were smaller than tweezers. That's not gonna, oops. That's how you lose parts. Yeah, that's not going in after it's glued. Unless I cut this down more. But I need that, what little's left there, to hold the face in. So I'm going to put this in now. Of course it's not going to stay. You might have noticed by now, I'm I'm a big talker. Humor by opposites. Set this to the side. Don't want to get glue on it. Speaking of which, my glue is somewhere else. That is the good stuff. And I don't think I'm going to need very much of this. Alright, that shouldn't come out now unless I really try. Alright. No turning back now. I should get some rubber bands or clamps or something, but I'm always dropping stuff. Hope I didn't put a fingerprint in there. This extra thin cement smells good, but in the I shouldn't be breathing this category of smell good. Same as gas and jet fuel, exhaust fumes. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if it'll focus on it, but I've got some sanding to do. Yeah, that seam line is gonna take some patience. Yeah, this side is how I want it. You can see that ridge of melted plastic. This side didn't quite. spots. Anyway, that's stuck together now. If I pull it apart, it'll just be a gooey mess, so I'm going to leave this to the side to set up even more. And see what's next. Next is the arms. So I'm going to cut those out and let's put them together.